which is not going to be a good job to do. The reason I think this isn't going to be fun, it says, other or unknown fault. Error code 8000009, unexpected power loss or shutdown failure. This is all I'm getting when downloading error codes. The issue is it freezes and crashes when loading games. It was also doing this when loading into the dashboard, but I got past this by doing a database rebuild in safe mode, so maybe it's the SSD. I don't want to try and change this myself as I don't have the kit to do BGA work and I don't want to risk making things worse. CE-108255-1 error code when games crash. Change of power supply and it worked for 20 odd minutes. Now getting error C0020303. Please make a YouTube video of the repair. So this is not going to be fun. Number one, someone's tried to eat it. It's got a chunk out of the housing. Number two is it's in bits, sort of. So I don't know what to expect when I get inside this. Also, there's no USBs. And it looks like it's been dropped because that disk drive made a noise when it turned on. There you go, look, see? So that's what it's doing. Yeah, basically just power cycling. According to the customer, it gets the 108255 error code, which means usually SSD. You probably don't give a damn about what I've got to say, but just hear me out for a minute, alright? We all know that those sweaty little douchebags with cheesy fingers, living in the mom's basement, drinking Red Bull and simping over TikTok losers are gonna break the console. And you and I both know that you're too cheap to buy off eBay, you're too impatient to wait for AliExpress, and you're just about smart enough to avoid Amazon completely. You can admit it, because I'm exactly the same. That's why I started my online store, consolefix.shop. I'll sell every part you'll need to fix the Xbox One, Series S, Series X, PS4, PS5 and Nintendo Switch consoles. So why not give me the money instead of some random dude on eBay? At least if I have it, you know it's not going to waste on some stupid thing like promoted eBay listings or food for the kids or something. If you give me your money instead, I promise I'll use it on useful things, like buying views on TikTok. So before you decide to go to one of the more popular sites and line the pockets of some fat cat loser, take a look at my online store. Check out the link in the video description or the top pinned comment and get 10% off any order over £25 during checkout. Alright, now you can go back to watching this douchebag on YouTube trying to fix something.
You can't say stuff like that in an advert, dude.
You're not my dad, dude. Don't tell me what to do.
That's what you think, Phil.
Wait, what? Mom! This thing's been butchered to the max. Look at these screws. Look at the state of that. Right, okay, so it has been UARTed. I see some solder blobs on the UART points. I'm going to UART it myself though. There we are. Let's load up my software. Unexpected power outage or shutdown failure. Yeah, so it is exactly what the customer said it was going to be. Alright, so that UART code really is not going to help me at all. It's just basically a general power failure message. So that's obviously a problem. Yes, this soldering iron tip is way too big for this. But who cares? I certainly do not. I don't know what kind of solder's been used on this, but it's not leaded. It is not leaded. Right, so here's the problem. That error code isn't going to tell me anything. The other problem is this can be a number of things. And another problem is where's the hell has the viscous paste gone off this SSD controller? Anyway, not to worry. So I'm thinking, first of all, that SSD controller die is damaged. Can you see it? Can you see the damage in the SSD controller? Nice chip out of that chip, yeah, exactly. So we've got some damage to the SSD controller. Very likely caused by a drop. Just there, in the corner. A little bit of the die taken. Is that going to cause a problem? I do not know. What about the APU? Hopefully that's not cracked. Let's have a look. So, I'm going to clean up this liquid metal, move it out of the way. I want to check the corners of the APU, make sure we've got no cracks in it. Because if we have, I'm going to just give up now and walk away. This has definitely been dropped. Look at the state of the liquid metal in the corner. I mean, it's been dropped anyway, I can tell that. There's a chunk out of the case for a start. Okay. No, the APU seems to be okay. No cracks in the corners. So I think I'm going to change this SSD controller because it's damaged. What else was damaged in the drop exactly? I picked up the wrong syringe for my flux. Okay. What multimeter would you suggest for a beginner? I mean, any cheap one will do, but if you want to save yourself from buying again, go for something like the 01 XDM 1041 off Amazon. There should be a link in my YouTube descriptions to it. Right, so remove that, and I'll just need to clean this up. There we are. Bit of IPA. Just make sure we've got no damaged pads. Nope, everything seems okay. Other than that, we're good. And we've got pin 1 in this bottom right corner. Should start to see flux squeeze out the sides. There we go, it's coming out that corner. Now it's coming out the sides. So now I'll add more. There we go. Right, we should be good there. I'm going to let that cool down naturally. I don't want to cause any kind of thermal shock or anything like that. So I'm going to let that cool down for at least a few minutes. Alright. Hopefully this turns on now. Damn it. Well, that's not good. That is not good at all. Right, no boot sequence. Stuck on 8 milliamps. Huh? How does that work? Right, let me just try giving this SSD controller a reflow. Well, yeah, 8 milliamps is normally safe bridge, yeah. No, the SSD controller on this was not faulty. I'm also going to reflow the cache IC. Just to make sure that didn't become oxidized. I might end up needing to reball the cache IC. By the way, yes, I did make a bench supply cable just to test the boot sequences. I get 264 milliamps and then off while it's warm. I think I need to reball the SSD cache IC. Yeah, I'm going to have to reball the cache IC. Alright, so basically this is like a RAM chip, but it's like it acts as a cache for the SSD. And a lot of the time when you replace the SSD controller, this ends up floating and you have to reboard it. Right. Right. No, I'm not lowering my airflow, I'm still at 40%. As long as you're not too close to it, you shouldn't have an issue. This is certainly something what takes practice though. Reflowing the solder balls down without a stencil in place at a fairly high airflow and them not flying absolutely freaking everywhere. There we are. Perfection. Beep, you bastard. Thank you. Right. Let's make sure this is flowed down as well. No. Unless that's a stray solder ball down in that bottom corner, then we have a problem. That could be a stray solder ball. It's perfectly round. I'll get a boot sequence. I'll get a normal boot sequence. So the boot sequence how I'm expecting is about 300 milliamps. That was jumping up to 320, but the board's still warm, so I'm expecting to have a little bit more current going through it because resistance increases with heat and that causes it to draw more current. So yeah, that's to be expected. Okay, she's turning on. So the SSD cache IC was floated. We do have a white light, that's good. That is a good sign. So the problem is when you've got two BGA chips right next to each other, you end up reflowing both chips at the same time. And you can't help that because they're just so close together. It's unreal. That is now booting up. Question is it still doing that flickering on the camera? On the screen. Come on, give me a display. Damn it! Damn it! That sucks. What the hell else could that be? Unless the impact has caused some damage elsewhere on the board. Oh, I honestly don't know. I could reinstall it now that I've reinstalled. Now that I've put a new SSD controller on it. That's always an option. I think that might be the best option actually, because it could be that the software was corrupted because of the SSD controller being faulty. Maybe. See, we've had these 108.255 error codes before, and swapping SSD chips has fixed it, but so it's a bit of a gamble. I have got someone coming soon, so I've got to end the stream. But if it's become corrupt because of that damaged SSD controller, then it is what it is. It's not really a lot we can do. We have to factory reset it. I'm on YouTube and Twitch, mate. Okay, that's just doing that now. Nope. Still doing it. The only other things I can think of is the SSD cache IC itself or RAM. That's the only other things I can think of that it could be. Problem is pinpointing which RAM it could be is a different question. Oh well. Not a lot you can do there. Right, I'm going to end the stream there, guys. I don't think there's anything I'm going to be able to do with this one. It's not the SSD controller. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. So yeah, take care everyone. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one.